Hello everyone, today we'll be taking a look at the new Forge update for Season 4. So first of all, we'll be getting water objects, which are basically placeable water. You might have seen my water tutorials, but this is an official water object. These will be static objects, they will not be dynamic, which means you cannot use scripts on them. So you can resize them and stuff, but you cannot put them in scripts, or they cannot have physics. But they will be adding dynamic water later on, which means again physics and scripting. A new Forerunner palette is also coming, so we're getting more Forerunner objects and decals. So of the decals we can even see one of the Warden Eternal symbol, we can see the Guardian symbol, and a few other symbols including some Forerunner letters. There is also going to be a universal blocker object, which means that instead of having it be only like a player blocker, projectile blocker, vehicle blockers, all of that, it's going to be this one universal, like all those properties, all those blockers combined into one. So that's going to make making certain maps faster. You know, if you put a ramp and it's bumpy and you want it to be like flat, then you put a blocker so projectiles, people, vehicles, they don't get all bumpy though, so that's going to be easier for forgers. And now something really important that's coming up is the minigame mode. The minigame mode does not have any underlying logic, and it will give players the complete control of making the mode that people will want to make. This, for example, will be useful for me when making my portal maps and stuff, my puzzle maps. And in addition, we will also be getting generic game mode objects into Forge. These will be generic capture zones and generic skulls and a generic ball. So these objects will allow you, with scripting, to be able to do things like have a hail in a capture the flag game, or gain vampire traits when you hit someone with the oddball in the Slayer. And if you want to score points for hurling a ball through an area monitor in Last Spartan Standing, you'll be able to do that. So this will be very, very beneficial, and it'll be very useful. So custom games can get more creative now, and even I will be able to take advantage of this. We're also getting quality of life updates to the node graph and new nodes as well. So, in addition to 25 nodes associated with the generic game mode objects, some of the new nodes include Get Object by Label to make object lists without using object references. Get is Game Mode, which runs logic only in certain game modes. Increment Number Variable, which is an easier way to get, add, and set advanced number variables, so it increases a certain number. Toggle Boolean Variable, which is an easier way to get, branch, and set advanced Boolean variables, which I believe means, let's say if a variable is set to true, then you can make it false, I think. There's also Boolean Not, which negates a Boolean variable. These will be very useful for my puzzle maps, by the way, because I have to toggle a lot of the Boolean variables. Anyways, Global Custom Event Async. It runs custom events asynchronously, which is also very useful because sometimes you want to have different things going on at the same time, and you have to set them up, so you set up so many custom events at the same time instead of running it off on the same custom event. So this should be very useful. There's also stopwatch nodes, which has the ability to create, start, pause, and reset timers from any point in the script. Stopwatches will also be able to trigger other scripts based on how much time has elapsed. So with all of these new nodes and the custom game, the minigame mode, all of this is going to make Forge way more creative. But that's not all. We're also getting budget improvements, so that's going to be great. We'll also have a better understanding and breakdown of all the budgets. So the new categories will include Global Simulation, Forge Simulation, Object Limits, which include Dynamic, Total, Vehicles, FX Count, Reflection Volumes, Movers, which will be available in a future update, Animations, Physics, Collisions, Static, and Total. Then we have Node Graph and Scripting Budget. By the way, scripting nodes have each brain can have 128 nodes and 512 connections. So then we also have runtime budget, which includes nav points, objectives, managed objects. So those are the new categories that will be seen in the budgets. So that way you can understand where your budget is going when you make maps. For me, for example, when I made the portal map, I used a lot of scripts, and it doesn't tell me how much of that goes into the budget. So with this update, I'll be able to actually see that. Also, now we will be having VFX scaling. That means that the VFX will be able to be scaled up or down, so you can resize them. There's also two new toggles, damage and audio. Some VFX deal damage and they have sounds to them, so now you can toggle that on or off. Useful for me on some of my maps that use sparks and steam, and that makes so much noise. In addition, we'll have some quality of life updates, including the ability to take a prefab and change all of the colors and materials in the prefab. So now you can take the whole prefab and change everything at the same time, instead of just having the parent object change. Another one is the ability to add nodes to Forge versions, so you can save multiple versions of the map and you can add nodes to them so you can identify what makes that version special. So there will also be bug fixes and other little quality of life updates. That means that the material and color bug in Forge right now is going to be fixed in Season 4. It's really annoying. So I'm really excited for this new Forge update. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's helpful to people and even to me. As you know, my showcase maps, I make them myself. A lot of them look nice. And I also have my puzzle map. So a lot of these features will be helpful for future puzzle maps and future maps. Additionally, I want to get a Husky raid map in matchmaking based on one of the maps I'm making on right now. So hopefully you guys are excited for this, and thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.